Y'all, I am finally back with another tutorial. I know I have the same excuse all the time, so we're just gonna jump into the video, okay? So in this video, VaVa Lash blessed me with some of their amazing products, and I'm using curl type C, CC, and B curl. And this is my code SS15 to get like me and use products like these to make beautiful sets like this. Let's get into it. So you guys, VaVa sent me some of their amazing lash trays. I mixed the premium and the cashmere. And they also sent me some glue. I really love their brand, so I'm not just saying that because I'm a brand ambassador, but do not forget to use my code and try these products out for yourself to see that I am not lying. I love this mannequin head because, as you can see, it has layers. And I'm just doing this just to go show you guys how to isolate, even though I do have a separate video on this. So right here I'm just showing an example of a great easy way to isolate for beginners using just the tape method. If your client does have multiple layers of lashes, which majority of them do, they may not all have 3 layers, but most clients usually have at least 2 layers of lashes. And for my top layer specifically, I will be applying spikes for this particular wispy set. You see how the top of my fan is closed. I personally use Bonder and this little spike tool. I call my spike tool to help me create my spikes, and I apply a lot of Bonder, and I use this tool to like comb them out to make the spikes a little bit more defined and like narrow at the top. And then I also use my fan to dry those how they are, and I may have to repeat that about 2 to 3 times throughout the whole full set on the actual client. So when I am creating my wispy sets, especially when I'm including spikes in my wispy sets, I like to start off in the middle, and I like to usually put that spike in the middle of the iris, which is the black part of the eye. Even though the eye is closed, I just try to gauge to the best of my ability to get it in the center of their eye, and that usually helps me determine where to put the rest of the spikes at. I know y'all are probably wondering about that middle lash, and I am as well. As you can see, these lashes gave me a little test in the beginning of the video, but that is nothing to a G. Just stick with me, and we are going to create some art, okay? So I went ahead and removed that lash that was in the middle and replaced it with the lash that was a little bit more closed at the top because the other one was kind of rigid at the top. And that really will throw the whole entire set off, y'all. So I will recommend that when you are applying spikes, really try to make the point as pointy as possible. When applying the spikes, I do not try to apply them too close together. I definitely try to apply them to where 1 to 2 other lash spikes will be able to fit in between, so that I can still give myself like room for improvement and just kind of gauge where I would need to put the remaining spikes at. I usually place about 5 to 7 spikes on each eye, especially when I'm going more for a uniformed wispy type of style. Also, when it comes to direction or placement direction, I definitely try to make sure all of the spikes are facing or pointing towards the upper eyelid or towards the brow. If we are going to slant any of them as far as the direction, like for example, the spikes towards the front of the corner of the eyelid, we can slightly slant those towards the nose. And then as far as the spikes going towards the outer corner of the eye, we can slightly slant those going towards the jawbone. So at times I can be what they call an overthinker or a quote-unquote perfectionist. And this spike that I'm placing right here, I didn't notice until a little bit later on as I was recording that it was a little bit too close to that last spike on the end. So just stay tuned because I am going to fix that, but I just wanted to bring that up. So at this point, I feel like it was an okay time to go ahead and start applying this open fans. One thing that really helped me get better and improve at my wispy sets were applying my spikes or my longest lengths first, or whatever lengths are going to be on the very top layer, which are usually the longest lengths. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure why it's a little bit easier for me that way. Maybe it's because I can just see like where I need to fill in the gaps at. I have tried it the reverse way before where I applied the open fans / shorter lengths first before applying the spikes / longer lengths. And I still felt like I kind of got confused where I wanted to put or where I needed to put my longer lengths or my spikes. But applying those spikes first, you literally just kind of like freestyle and go in and fill in the gaps with the open fans. So as far as my placement of the curl types, of course, all the 17s were CC. And when it comes to the base of the Wispy set, which were 12 and 13, and B as in boy and C mix, I didn't really have a strategy to where I placed those. I just kind of mixed them all in. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I am a perfectionist, and these amount of spikes just were not doing it for me. I felt like the spikes could use some company, so I went in with my 13C and added a spike in the inner corner and another one on the outer corner. I did not want to apply 17s all across the entire eye because I did not feel that that would look right. I feel that you should apply the spikes according to the base layer lengths. So being that I applied 11s on my outer and inner corners, as far as my open fans went, I felt like I needed to decrease the length of the spikes. I feel like changing the lengths will also help the set complement each other a little better towards the inner corners. You don't want anything looking out of place, and I recommend a shorter spike in the inner and outer corner because longer lengths just really don't look good on the inner and outer corner to me unless you're doing a cat eye. Remember, depending on your client's eye shape, keeping the longer lengths in the center can definitely make the eye or help the eye appear bigger and open up the eye. But if the eye is slanted on the end, I would definitely keep the ends longer. So as you can see, I did feel like my set needed one more spike on the end, and I do go through and apply more bonder at the tips to make sure that my points are pointy, excuse my nails. But as you can see, the bonder will whip them back into shape. So as I stated in the beginning of the video, I just like to go ahead and place a few spikes, and then throughout my set, I don't mind, or I don't think there's anything wrong with adding or even subtracting some spikes. Just seeing like how you want your art to go, how you want it to look. There's nothing wrong with adding or subtracting things because again, this is art and you are completely open and free to create it the way you want to create it and make it uniquely yours on any time frame. So don't be afraid to add or subtract anything. So at this point in the video, I am going to go ahead and speed things up a little bit, only because I am doing repetitive things at this part of the video, which is just applying the 12s and the 13s and the 11s all in between the set. So the spike in this area would just not cooperate this video, so I removed it again and replaced it with another spike that was uniformed and pointy at top because I will not deal with any scraggly spikes. I also want to kindly remind you that if you are going through your set and you see an area where the lashes are kind of like moving as if they're stiff or stuck together at the base, please check for a sticky. Stickies are legit one of my biggest pet peeves. I will take those lashes off a million times if I have to, if they are not all isolated the correct way. So here I'm using my Dental Mirror and Teardrop Mascara wand from Sybaritic.com to see what we're working with here. And I observed that the last spike that I applied wasn't as bold or as thick enough, really wasn't standing out in the set. So I added another spike in the same area or right below or on top of that spike just to add a little bit more definition, and as you can see, it's standing out way more than it was before. So don't be afraid to double up or even triple on your spikes because it just adds more boldness to the spikes and makes them stand out more. I wanted to keep this set cute and classy because a lot of people are no longer wearing very thick, very full lashes anymore. And I wanted to recreate a tutorial based off something that is being worn in the lash industry today. Comment below and let me know if you think I could have made them fuller or not. So here's the final product. I did not get any really good videos or pictures of the final product because I did continue to tweak it a little bit after I was done and I was not recording that part. But here is a final view of my masterpiece. So comment down below, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and if you like these lashes. And you can give me real deal criticism if you did not, but just keep it cute. Thank you. And please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I do plan on getting something done to those bottom lashes too, so stay tuned for that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.